Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Patrick with your Patface Gaming video blog, part 2 for today, Tuesday, June 2nd, 2009. Sony is done with their E3 presentation, and wow, definitely some things to talk about. Very similar, kind of a wow factor we got from a lot of Sony stuff today. We talked about Nintendo earlier. It's in the earlier post if you haven't seen it. Let's just talk about a couple of things we saw from Sony today. So Uncharted 2, we saw game footage for the first time today. It looks crisp, it looks detailed, it looks very well done. The game was already running smooth, a lot of excitement to be had there. It only looks to expand on what was a very good first game. We saw the massive action game. To me, it kind of felt like Warhawk. It kind of left a bit of an unimpressive taste in my mouth. You didn't really get the feel for the fact that 256 people were playing, which is basically the big seller of that game. So for me, that was kind of, yeah. We found out PSP-Go, the new PSP, is coming out in October. We found out Gran Turismo will be coming out for PSP on the same time, October 1st. The PSP-Go is going to go for $250, which is what the PSP originally went for, which seems like a lot of money for a system that can potentially do all this stuff digitally, but still, in terms of games, is lacking compared to like a DS or that kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see if people jump at this just to jump at it, or if people like me already have a PSP just kind of say, I haven't really played any games in the 4 years that I've had it, so maybe it'll just continue really not playing any games. Interesting though, with the digital content that you'll be able to take your videos along with you and do that kind of thing. The 16 gigs of flash memory inside is great, gives you plenty of room if you want to put videos on that kind of thing. The other thing is, a lot of people who would be interested in this already have an iPhone, so you can put your videos on there, you got games on there, all that kind of stuff. Be interesting to see how those two kind of battle along with the DSi moving forward. And we heard a whole lot about the PSP, I almost think too much. Bit of a lull there during the middle of Sony's presentation. It just kind of went on and on without a lot of new news, just kind of talking about some of the same stuff. We're getting a new Metal Gear game for the PSP, but that's going to be lost in the big announcement that Metal Gear is coming to Microsoft on Monday. But then Sony kind of started picking it up at the end. They hit the low point, not the low point, but at the end of the lull, talking about home. No real new information, nothing special about it. The same thing we've been hearing for years and years, it feels like now. But then they started picking it up. They talked about some of the new franchises that'll be coming. Final Fantasy 14 announced. It'll be similar to Final Fantasy 11, which was an online game, but exclusive to PS3. So big news for them. They got to show off the first trailer today. They also showed a trailer for The Last Guardian, which is the end of the trilogy of the Ico and Shadow of Colossus series, and that trailer looked really good. And then the motion control that we saw today, I have to start by saying that if you've ever seen the picture of the phallic golf trophy that the LPGA winner was kissing, it's exactly what this looked like. Totally inappropriate. They're going to have to change that. But some of the stuff it did was really cool. I hadn't seen that kind of stuff happen before. It was a live demo. I'm sure it'll be posted online shortly, and we'll link to it. So that was really interesting, especially off the heels of everything that Microsoft was showing off. Both Microsoft and Sony now, I think you can safely say, are jumping ahead of Nintendo in terms of motion control and voice and image recognition and all that kind of stuff. And then finally we got to see God of War 3, and we finally saw some gameplay. And if you're a fan of God of War 3, every reason you've had to be excited for the last 2 years waiting for this game is completely valid. The game looks disgustingly gory, incredibly good. The details are amazing. Everything looks really good on it, so there's a lot of reason to be excited about it. They're going to be showing some more demos, and we'll probably see some more gameplay as we go through the rest of this week, but definitely some stuff to keep an eye on. In terms of overall, just a quick couple of impressions from all three. Motion control, obviously the name of the story with Microsoft and Sony, both moving ahead of Nintendo in development of that kind of stuff. I'm surprised we didn't hear more about Ratchet & Clank today in the Sony presentation, but that's okay. God of War 3 obviously looked quite good. And, you know, overall I think that both Sony and Microsoft have a lot to be excited about with their presentations here the past couple of days. In addition to Nintendo, while overall I felt like the presentation lacked, the new Metroid announcement, Golden Sun, some of those games, Mario Galaxy 2, a lot of good news for gamers coming from the past 3 days, along with some of the stuff that EA was talking about on Monday, which we haven't even had a chance to get to. So overall, I mean, a big couple of days, a lot of big announcements, and thankfully a lot of gameplay footage. We got to see a lot of stuff from Microsoft and Sony in particular, about actually hands-on game controller in hand. One thing we didn't mention, Assassin's Creed 2, we saw gameplay for the first time today on the Sony stage, and that looked impressive. It was beautifully built. It's going to take place in Renaissance Italy, and it looked really good. So a lot of good-looking games that we'll see more of coming up towards the end of this year, holiday season, all the way into spring of 2010. A few more announcements. One more, ModRacers, a game that we saw a little bit about, and we got a brief demo of today. Looks really cool. It's kind of like a Little Big Planet meets Mario Kart, but it looked good, and it'll be something that we'll be interested to see more about. But overall, Sony did a good job here. They didn't, I don't think, had to spend or didn't spend the money that Microsoft did necessarily. But I think that some of their secrets that didn't get leaked, unlike the PSP-Go, really ended up being a surprise for a lot of people. And the gameplay that they did show, particularly Uncharted 2 and God of War 3, which are PS3 exclusives. Good news for Sony, hopefully coming up through the rest of this year and moving on. And we'll see if they are able to begin to make up some ground here against Microsoft and Nintendo. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow with some more good tidbits. But it's been a bit of an overload the past couple of days, so I'm going to take a little break here and enjoy something besides games, check out some sports scores and that kind of stuff. As always, you can keep posted on patfacegaming.blogspot.com. That is the blog where all this goes down. You can also please subscribe to the YouTube channel Patface Gaming, and we'll be continuing to update through the rest of this week and moving forward with any other big announcements that come. Thanks for watching. Any kind of questions, comments, and hate mail is appreciated. And I'll look forward to speaking with you again tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.